Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Everlynn's Books and Tea. For today's video, it's going to be a short one because we are going to be just reviewing a advanced reading copy I got of a book that I have been looking forward to since I heard that it was being released. And I got this advanced reader copy from NetGalley, and the book that we are going to be talking about today is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. So ever since I saw the synopsis for this book, I have been looking forward to reading it and been counting down the days till September because I wanted to get it in as my first book for September. So this is a dark academia book that is set in a secluded school called Drayton's Academy that's located in Savannah, Georgia, but only the people who attend or teach at the school knows that it exists. So this book follows the main character, Lennon, who is a 20-something-year-old whose life is just falling apart. And she ends up receiving this mysterious phone call telling her that she is being invited to take the entrance exam to Drayton College, which is, of course, a place that she has never heard of. Because she had nothing else that was really going right in her life, she ends up going to the place that she was told to, taking the entrance exam, doing the interviews, and she ends up admitted to Drayton College, or Drayton Academy. And there is where things start to go a little haywire. So the school ends up being a place that teaches one thing and one thing only, and that is the gift of persuasion. And those who are admitted to this school have the innate ability to be able to kind of control other people's minds. And this school helps them hone that ability, that skill. Now, as London progresses along in her study, she starts to realize that Drayton has its own kind of disquieting history. And not only that, her advisor, Dante, also kind of has his own mysterious and tragic past. And as she kind of works towards unraveling these mysteries, she is going to end up having to ask herself who can she trust and who may or may not betray her. So that's kind of the plot of the book. For me, dark academia is kind of like a hit or miss genre. I either really enjoy reading these books or I really do not enjoy reading them. Ninth House for me was a book that I absolutely loved. The Catherine House, not so much. This book, though, thankfully, falls more in line with the Ninth House and the Catherine House, and I really loved reading it and really enjoyed my time spent at Drayton College or University or Academy. One of those three. So this book opens up in kind of like a surprising way, a way that I haven't really seen a dark academia book open up before, but before we know it, we are at Drayton Academy. And it is there that the plot really starts moving along. The way that the author kind of scattered the tidbits of the mystery throughout the book really made the book read at a good pace. There wasn't a lot of downtime where you felt that there wasn't a lot going on. And as she kind of adds to your knowledge of what is happening at Drayton, what is happening with Dante, it really keeps your interest and keeps you wanting to read the book, which was nice. That is one thing I did not get with Catherine House. The plot itself kind of felt very unique for a dark academia book. I can't say I've read a ton of dark academia, but I haven't really seen a plot like this before, nor a kind of like magic system like this before. The magic system definitely felt really unique in that there was really only one focus, and that was the gift of persuasion. I feel in a lot of these dark academia novels or in fantasies in general, there's a lot more to the magic, while in this book, it was just the gift of persuasion, nothing else to learn, nothing else going on. So the one thing I look at when there is a magical system in the book, whether it's a fantasy book, dark academia, it doesn't matter, is there a downfall to using this power? Because otherwise, the characters are just going to be invincible if they can go off and use their power willy-nilly. And in this book, there is definitely downfalls to using the gift of persuasion. These characters were not invincible. These characters were not omnipotent. I think that's the correct usage of that term. If the characters use this magic, bad things could happen, and that made them really have to think about if this was the right time to use their gift of persuasion or if they should be holding it off for a later time. And I felt like that made the book just that more realistic to read, though obviously, we can't control minds in the real world. Or can we? I don't know. So, yeah, that is the magic system. So the two main characters of the book were London and Dante, and I felt the author really did a good job with developing them and presenting them throughout the book. The book was told by the viewpoint of London only, and it was kind of really interesting because the author did a really good job of having Lennon kind of change throughout the events that she was experiencing as the book went on. The Lennon that you saw as you near the end of the book was not the Lennon that you saw in the beginning of the book. And it was done in such a natural way that when I got near the end, I was like, this is a entirely different Lennon than we had at the beginning of the book. And I didn't even realize it was happening until I reached near the end of the book. That was like how natural it was to me. And that was kind of like a nice surprise. The side characters weren't as developed as Lennon and Dante were. And I felt, especially for some of the student side characters, if they had been developed a little bit further, especially with their relationship with Lennon, the book would have been a little bit stronger. And that's really the main critique I have as far as the characters go. The ending was great because it did a good job of tying up the main plot, and it really tied up all the kind of subplots as well. There was one tiny subplot that I thought may not have been tied up. I'm not sure if it truly wasn't tied up or if I just missed it somewhere in the book because it was so small. But other than that, everything was tied up very nicely by the end of the book, which is the way I love for standalones to finish. And currently, as far as I know, this book is a standalone. Though I will say that the way that the book ended, the author definitely left room for a second book in this world. And I'm really hoping that she ends up writing one because I really enjoyed my experience reading this book set at Drayton Academy. I do want to say, though, that if you are looking for a book that has a kind of like a major subplot of romance, this is definitely not that book. While there is romance in it, it, only was really a couple pages here and there, and it didn't really contribute a whole lot to the plot of the book. So this is definitely not kind of like a romantasy. This is definitely not a book where romance is a major focus. So just realize that going in. I was quite happy with that because I don't think it would have added anything to this book itself. But if you're looking for a dark academia book that has morally gray and flawed characters, that have a unique magic system, that shows what different people do when they're giving absolute power over others, whether it corrupts them or if it makes them a better version of themselves, this is definitely a book for you. I will say, though, definitely look up the trigger warnings before reading it. So that is An Academy for Liars. Again, I got this for free from NetGalley to give a review, and I give it a 4.25 out of 5. And I'm really hoping that the author dives back into this world and gives us a second book set at Drayton Academy. So that's it for this video. Coming up, I'm going to be releasing a video that reviews all the books I read on my first year on YouTube and sorts them into the best season to read them in. And I'm going to be doing a reading challenge game as well, based on a popular TV show. And then we'll finish the month with a Around the World reading challenge. And of course, at the end of the month will be our October TBR. I hope everyone has a great September and that, if you love the fall weather, I hope that's starting to come to you guys as well. That's all I got for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye!